Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jamzam here again, I guess. It's actually been quite a while since I've ever used that name. Mostly because I don't do music under the artist name Jamzam anymore. So that's what I want to talk to you about first, before I start talking about the tutorial that I have in mind today. But stay tuned, even if you don't care about my music career, because this tutorial is worth it. But anyway, yeah, so I don't do music under the artist name of Jamzam anymore. I call myself Missing Identity these days. Why, you might ask? Mostly because Jamzam sounds like some sort of kids show or something like that, and I've thought that for a while. So I've been thinking about changing my artist name for a while, and I finally did it. So if you like what you hear from me on here, and if you want to follow me and listen to my music, you can do that on either Facebook or SoundCloud. So I'll link you to both of those two sites in the description, and you can feel free to check me out on there, basically. But yeah, that's it for that. Today I want to talk to you about resampling bass, or to be more precise, my way of resampling bass. And if you don't know what resampling is, it's basically when you record something, so you sample it, and you add effects to that recording. You record it again with the new effects. So basically you resample it, you add more effects to that, you resample it, add effects, resample, add effects, and so on. And you can do that however many times you want to create sort of more movement and depth to your bass sounds, or whatever sound you want to resample for that matter. I usually do it on basses, sometimes on lead synths, rarely, but sometimes on drums actually. So you can do it on a lot of things. Just I'm gonna talk about this in more depth, but you have to be careful, because the slightest change you make will have serious consequences to your sound. So I'm gonna talk about that more soon. So first, let's just listen to the bass that we will be resampling today. So yeah, here is the bass before any resampling at all. Sorry. Let's see. Here we go. Like that. Alright, so obviously this bass is pretty bass heavy already, so that's always the first thing I do before I even think about resampling any bass. I put down as much work and effort into it as possible beforehand. Just, you know, if you put crap in, crap comes out. But if you put work and effort into it all the way through, it will be rewarding in the end. So think about that. But yeah, let me just show you how I would record this. So basically, this is the bass that we will be resampling. And then I have some other basses, so this one for example, and also the sub bass. But we're just gonna do this one. So yeah, basically I can't do this while recording because I'm already using the master channel for the video. But what I would do is I would add an edison. I would do this on the master channel on the mixer, obviously, but I would do this. I would turn it on to, you know, record on play. So basically I just press record and I play the sound and it will record. And basically when it loops over again, so when it's played one loop here and just restarts from the beginning, it will create a marker, so I can just delete everything after that marker easily, and I will have a perfect loop recording of that sound. So that's how I would do that, but on the master channel. So I'm gonna do that, and I will meet you again in a new project. See ya. Okay, so I just did everything and I realized I did something wrong in the recording, so I have to redo it. But anyway, here we are in a new project. I just recorded the loop here, and yeah, so we have the same bass as in the last project, but in a new project by itself. And I usually do this just for the sake of saving some CPU power and RAM memory, just because resampling can get really intense on the computer. So that's why I do this in a separate project and then just render it out and import it to the old project again. And I'll show you that as well later. By the way, this tutorial will be extremely long, but I need to do that just for the sake of, you know, showing you a little bit more in depth about how I do this, because there is a lot of, you know, just general tutorials on YouTube, but I haven't been able to find anyone else just showing it this thoroughly, so that's what I want to do today. Now, what I have done is I have just imported this sample here to, I just added it to a mixer channel, and I've also set up an Edison send channel for our resampling here. I'll show you how to use that as well soon. So let's start adding some effects to this sample. I'm gonna start by adding a blood overdrive, just quite a lot of it, something like that, I guess. So with. Yeah, let's do that. And here is a very important fact about resampling. This, just distorting like this, as it sounds now, it sounds pretty good, but when you start, you know, you'll probably want to add like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or however many layers more of distortion on top of this, and that would just completely ruin the sound. It would just, in the end, it would just sound like noise, and yeah, you just would hardly be able to listen to it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just lower the wet/dry signal here. So I usually stick somewhere between, if you look up here in the corner, somewhere between 20, you know, 10% or 20%, somewhere in between there. 15 I think would be good. So that adds a lot of yeah, distortion. I think 10% is better for this in particular. So you can definitely hear the effect it has, but the original is still in there. Next I'm going to add a fast distortion. Just lower the threshold a bit and lower the wet dry signal, and here's what we have now. Right, okay. Now here comes the fun part. I'm going to add a EQ, and if you just do this, you lower band anywhere in the frequencies and just make it a really narrow band. This would probably be the same thing as a notch filter, but simply just made in an equalizer. It's simple enough. So I'm going to do this for maybe 3 bands for now, like so, different volume changes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link the frequency of these. Oh, that's not right. I'm going to link the frequency of these to knobs on my MIDI controller here. I have a little what's it called, a Kai LPD8, so it's basically a drum, what's it called, drum, you know, one of those little things with pads. Oh, that's not right. With drum pads, so that's what I'm using. Hold on, what am I doing wrong here? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to record sort of doing this, and you will recognize this little trick from my what's it called, Res-based tutorial. I did this but with an LFO, so basically it's the same thing. Now I'm just doing it manually, so I'm getting a bit more variation in the sound. So I'll just go ahead and record that, and yeah, I'll just show you so you can see what I'm actually doing. Yeah, and what that does is it adds a little playlist here with the automation that I'm doing. And what I do is I just record again with a second EQ band. So let's do that. Okay, and lastly I'll just do the last EQ band. Okay, so as you can see, I'm trying to get like a lot of variation in here. So I'm doing one deep and pretty slow band, and one, you know, medium speed, and one really fast, just crazy. And the waveform is looking something like that. Well, not waveform, but automation. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but with a low pass filter and a high pass filter. So I'm going to link those to my controller, like so. I'm going to add a little bit of resonance to the high pass and link that to. So there we go, I can control everything from here live. And I'm going to record this again. Alright, so that's that, and then the low pass. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to resample. So I'll just send this channel that I have to... Oh, by the way, here's an important thing as well. If you look in the playlist here, I always rename my tracks. So resample 1, resample 1 FX. And I would do this, you know, resample 2. So that's what we're gonna record. So let's do that. I'm gonna send this channel to my Edison send here, just to be able to record it. I would usually just do this in the master channel, but yeah, this works. So I'm gonna record on play, press record, and play. Alright, so I was a little bit fast with stopping there, but as you can see, that's where the loop ends and it restarts from the beginning of the playlist. So I can just double click this neat little marker that it gives me and just delete, and I have a perfect loop of the sample. So I'll drag that into my resample 2 spot in the playlist, and I'm gonna rename the clip as well to resample resample 2, not 12, 2. There you go. So you can see what it looks like here, and I'm just gonna turn the first 2 playlist tracks off, so we're just hearing the resample 2 now. Gonna add that to a new mixer track, and just do some more random effects that I feel like doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that, but pretty much the same thing again, and just yeah, I'll just do that and I'll be right back and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so hello again, guys. I took a little break and I hope I remember everything right, but as I said, I was going to do some more effects on the second resample clip here, and I obviously did. I did quite a lot of automation, and for some reason my automation thing started doing this sort of thing instead of this, which is cooler, I guess. It hasn't actually happened before, so I don't know exactly why it's doing it, but it's doing it, and pretty badass in my opinion. Here is the sound that we have now. So yeah, this is starting to sound pretty badass. Now I'm going to do the last little magic trick to this whole process, and it is what I would like to call Harmor resampling, which also I'm going to link a great tutorial for this Harmor resampling in particular in the description, because there's another guy that actually has done a lot of tutorials on this particular subject, just resampling in Harmor. But I wouldn't suggest using, just that technique, which is why I'm doing, just purely resampling in the mixer here beforehand, and then doing one take in Harmor, because otherwise you kind of squish all the sound. I don't know, you can try it for yourself and see what you like best, but this is my preferred technique. So we're gonna open up Harmor here, and we will go to the Advanced tab down here just to fix some settings. So we want to change the precision here to perfect. We want to disable the noise. We want to change the image/resynthesis engine to high precision, and that is about it. So basically all we're doing is making the synth not affect the sound too much, because the Harmor always how should I explain this? Harmor always down samples your samples so to speak. So basically the quality will be a bit worse, but if you do what I just did, the quality shouldn't be too bad. Now I already recorded our sound here, so we're gonna open the image section here, and we're going to drag our sample into the image synthesis tab here, and it's going to open it up in Harmor. So if I just play a note, yeah, so we have the same sound but in Harmor, and we can use Harmor to affect this however we want. So I'm just gonna add some detune here and panning separation, and also I like to mess with the scale here, just lower that some here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add some compression, heating compression, up the amount, lower the low frequencies, up the mid. Yeah, that should be good. I'm also going to add some distortion in this step too. So. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make a new pattern for this Harmor step, and I'm going to add a long C5 note here. So let's see, our clip is that long. So if you look here, our clip is now the same length as our previous clips. I'm gonna disable the second resample clip, and let's listen to what we have again. Okay, so I'm really liking this sound now. It's obviously a lot better than what we started with. So let's compare the two. So here is what we started with. Right, and here is our finished product. Alright, so I'm gonna record that into Edison. So I'm gonna let's just show you here. I'm going to add Harmor into a new mixer track. I'm gonna send that to the Edison send. Just delete that. Record and play. Alright, so that's it. Now I'm just going to save this sample. So say sample as. I'm going to save it, let's see now, in image line, FL Studio 10, data, patches, and samples, custom drums project, bass, resampling part 2. Now we're finished with this project now. So usually what I do is I just save as, and I save the project right next to the actual sample. So I can go in here and change whatever I want afterwards if I want to, but we're done with this project, so I will see you shortly in our original project. Alright, hello again. I just took another break, so I hope I'm not confusing anything or doing anything second time over, but whatever. So we have our resampled bass right here from the other project, so we just have it in a waveform now, in a wave file, and I've added it to another track here in the playlist, so it's right here, and it's playing together with the original bass, right, yeah, it's this one. So what I've done is I've added it here, and I added the new bass, the resampled bass, to a what's it called? You know what I mean, a channel right here. So I added it here, and I also added it to a sidechain, so now we have this sound. And I can, with the sidechain, it's this. I thought, hold on, what's going on here? Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go. Now we have a sidechain. Right, and with the other bass, and without the resampling. So you can hear we're adding a lot to the sound there. And usually when a project starts getting a bit too much for my computer, I usually start bouncing stuff down to WAV files just to get some load off of the CPU and RAM of my computer. And when it comes to, for example, basses and lead synths and stuff like that, this is usually the process I go through. So I'm going to have to go through this same process with pretty much all of the basses. So let's see, where's the basses? Right here. So this one. So I'm going to resample that. I'm going to resample the... Well, I'm not going to resample the sub bass, but I'm just going to render this out. So, and yeah, basically I'm just going to have everything in wave files, and whatever I think needs resampling or could use some resampling, I will resample it. So I go through this whole process several times on several different instruments and several times per instrument on a track. So it's a very long and tedious process, but let's take a listen to the finished sound here. Yeah, so isn't that a pretty badass fucking bass line? I'm actually really happy with this, and especially when I've resampled some more stuff, this track will be freaking huge. So I think that I'll be working a lot on this track in the future, and keep a lookout. If you like it, just keep a lookout. I'll release it sometime. I think I will make it a free download, just because I recently passed 500 likes on my Facebook page, so that's, you know, halfway to 1,000. So I want to thank everybody with a free track, and maybe this will be it. We'll see. But this is it for me. I hope you learned how to resample. It's a very long video, but I hope it's worth it. So yes, thank you for watching, and bye.